In Liberia too, a country torn by civil war, belief in Bahá'u'lláh has given new energy to the Baha'i community, just as it did in Baghdad so long ago. They used to have a radio station which provided programs of social and economic development all over the country.
And I listen to Radio Baha all day long, and I like it, and I love it.
It helped farmers in their fields and women with their children.
Do you sometimes listen to Radio Baha?
Yes, all the time.
How do you like it?
I feel alright to it.
And it was destroyed by civil war. This was their radio station, and the Bahais, many of whom are still in refugee camps, say they are ready to rebuild it just as soon as they can. They are ready to start all over again.
Radio Baha. I'm a George. Go fast when I go. Radio Baha.
Baha'u'llah gives them spiritual confidence to continue because his voice speaks to the soul.
The thing above, it's in the air, and you feel there is a sense of being that will hear you.
Chinese Baha'is, coming from a background of Buddhism, Taoism and more recent communism, have also recognized an ancient spiritual power in the voice of Baha'u'llah.
I have been a Baha'i for 3 years. Why I become a Baha'i? Because I think the Baha'i thought very close to the Chinese thought.
So for me, there's no conflict between the understanding of Buddhism and the Baha'i faith. Like we draw a circle. The inside is our knowledge, and the outside is the unknown question. That is the beginning of the God.
But that's something that the Marxism is lack of. I mean, they don't have a God. The younger generation, they start to realize the crisis. But on the other hand, currently, the Chinese younger generation, they are kind of the lost generation.
The first time I heard about it is, I'm so happy. I was searching for religion, not only for myself, but also for China.
Nauru is a painter whose work reflects the hieroglyphic language of his Nashi tribe.
Baha'i and the Chinese everybody together.
His dream is to create a language through his art that can speak to everyone in the world. Wu Tianming is known and loved as the godfather of Chinese film.
I'm happy to be a Baha'i now and to have met so many Baha'i friends. I want to work together with them to make this world a better world, because these ideas are what I've always been seeking. In my films too.
Baha'i ideas about unity and tolerance, prejudice and power have become familiar to liberal-minded people all over the world. We accept them as common sense without knowing they're Baha'i. In fact, when the leaders of over 170 countries gathered in Rio this year, the Secretary General of the Earth Summit addressed them in words that echoed those spoken by Baha'u'llah over 100 years ago.
All of us have our own little communities to which we have loyalty. We have our families. We have our nations. But we now have to enlarge the circle of our allegiance and our consciousness to include the whole planet, and to realize that we are first and foremost Earthlings. We inhabit this planet as one family of human beings.
Baha'u'llah was imprisoned and banished by the kings and rulers of his day because he challenged them to accept this very solution.
The earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens.
Our leaders face the same challenge today. Suffering is always the same, but the difference is that now we hold our leaders accountable for the solutions.
World leaders are, after all, responsible people. And I believe that they will realize that they have, when they come together, a collective responsibility for the future of all the people on our planet that will override their temporary and their short-term preoccupations. I do have faith that these leaders are good leaders, that they will exercise their historic responsibility in Rio. We have to believe that.
It would seem we have to believe something. But who or what should we believe? If we want to revive our sense of responsibility for the world, if we want to regenerate our belief in the future, we could do worse than ask ourselves about the man who first challenged us to face these issues. This year, the Bahais are commemorating the passing of Baha'u'llah. They believe that he renewed the ancient covenant between man and the unknown. They believe his ideas are charged with a spiritual power that makes them more effective than mere reform. They revere him as the secret behind the changes in our century. Perhaps 100 years after his death, it might be timely to consider the nature of his power over the hearts of men.
Is stirring within all the peoples of the earth, and yet none hath discovered its cause or perceived its motive.
This is the changeless faith of God, eternal in the past, eternal in the future.